Good morning, class. Welcome to history. Today we're going to learn the second part of our history lesson on historical figures. I know last class we spent a lot of time identifying some things that U.S. historical figures have done. So just before we jump right into what we're doing today and we go through our checklist and things like that, can anybody tell me what a historical figure is? Yes, Bradley?
Someone who made an impact or was famous in the past.
Awesome. Our class definition is right up here on our word wall, which reads, historical figures are a famous person who really existed in the past. And we were looking particularly at people who made an impact in the U.S. So awesome job. Can you tell me anything more about U.S. figures, like how we could identify a historical figure?
Normally, if they did good for the community.
So they made like that lasting impact in the community. Awesome job. I'm really glad that we still have those remembered. I see that you already have your biography cards out on your desk. Awesome job. I'm going to ask now for the students to get out their take-home folders. And from your take-home folder, you're going to just get out your biography cards that we were working on last class, and any of those notes that we took on vocabulary words or anything, so you can get those out now. It's great to see that everybody has done that. So today, we are working on explaining our historical figures and the impacts that they had on U.S. history. Last class, we were identifying what those figures did. The difference between identifying and explaining is quite tricky. Here's how I'm going to put it for you. When we're identifying something, we're looking directly at the text, in this case it would be our biographies, and we're pointing out direct quotes from those texts that tell us about the characters. When we're explaining things, it tends to be in our own words, and you want to explain something to the point where people will be able to understand what you mean, even if they don't know anything about the person you're talking about. So a good way to explain, say, Thomas Edison would be, if I told somebody about Thomas Edison who'd never heard about Thomas Edison before, by the end they can understand what Thomas Edison did. Does that make sense? Awesome job. We're going to dive into a video that tells us more about our biographies that we've been working on. I know we made some biography cards, but today, since we're going to make biographies in our own explanation or in our own words, we're going to learn a little bit more about those biographies and what they look like. During this video, I'm going to be passing out a few materials. I'm going to ask that you don't touch anything on your desks, and please silence all cellular devices during your class period. Thank you. And I'm going to ask that you pick 2 to 3 things from the video that are parts of biographies, or maybe just something that stood out to you. So keep a lookout for those 2 to 3 things throughout the course of our video, okay, friends? Does that sound good? I'm glad we're so enthusiastic. Chloe, shush. Make sure that we're trying to pick out those 2 to 3 things from our video, okay, friends?
There are a whole lot of biographies out there. Seriously, just head over to your local library and check out the biography section. It's a sea of books. Just don't try to water ski it. They'll taste it. Anyway, these biographies can be about important and interesting people from history, like Maya Angelou, Winston Churchill, Helen Keller, and Abraham Lincoln. And yes, you can even find biographies about people who aren't quite as important, unless you really care about Kim Kardashian's selfie technique. Then by all means, check it out. But while many biographies are written about people that were already famous, sometimes biographies can also make people famous by bringing attention and acclaim to people who might otherwise have been forgotten by history. Pretty cool, right? Biographies can be especially useful when written about people who probably weren't given a whole lot of credit back when they were alive, which is good news for basically any woman or racial minority living over 50 years ago. But finding enough information to fill a book on someone who history kind of forgot, it's not super easy. It'd be like trying to write a biography about your great-great-great-great-grandmother. She was probably a cool lady. After all, she is related to you. But do you even know her name? Yep. Like we said, it's not a public, then a primary source. Usually. You never know when a biography might have things. Or rabies. Anyway, think of the many primary sources as ingredients, like flour, eggs, and cocoa powder. You probably don't want to eat all that stuff on its own, unless you want to use your mouth as a mixing bowl, but we don't recommend that. A biographer can turn all those ingredients into an easy-to-consume chocolate cake. Unlike the old and complex primary sources, secondary sources are often written in interesting, creative, and easy-to-understand ways in order to appeal to everyone, whether or not they're familiar with the topic. So go check out the biography section in the library. And while you're doing that, we're going to try and start a cake section in our local library.
All right, friends. So now I would ask you to turn and talk to your partner or your neighbor about those 2 or 3 things you noticed during the video. For the sake of this, I'm going to be your partner in this turn and talk activity.
Well, I noticed that not all biographies are about important people. It could be about not as important people. It could also bring forgotten people and things.
I noticed that they compared a biography to a cake, which means that they just took all the important parts, kind of like we did on our biography cards, like the name, and they put like the name and the birthday and stuff together to make it a nice thing rather than having to read a big bulky text that I don't understand to get those details. And so now I'm going to ask groups to share. Since we already talked about it, I'm going to skip over the share part for the sake of this video. And now that we know a little bit more about our biographies, I'm also going to ask to just run over what a biography is and what that means to us. Does anyone have any ideas of what a biography is? Yes, Bradley.
It's a book usually, or I guess, yeah, a book written about someone that's like, not them, but someone else, but factual, I guess.
Yeah.
Informational.
To turn back to our word wall, our definition is a biography is an account of someone's life written by someone else. So if I were to write a biography about Zoe's life, would that be an autobiography or a biography?
Could be a biography.
It'd be a biography because I'm writing about Zoe. Now, if I was writing one about myself, then it would be an autobiography, like we learned about in our last unit. So we're going to jump right into our activity because I've noticed that we're really progressing in a strong way. We have our vocabulary down. And on our wonderful checklist wall, we did go over our word wall review, and we went over our biography video, so we can check those 2 off. We're going to read our I can statement, then we're going to jump right into the I do. So our I can statement is posted right here. I'm going to read it once, and then I'm going to ask you to read it with me, okay? It says, I can explain the impact of historical figures in my own words. You ready? I can explain the impact of historical figures in my own words. And then we're going to do our thumb scale. So if you feel like that's something you can do already, if you feel like, I can kind of do that already, or if you feel like you can't do that at all right now, you can kind of do that, awesome. And we're going to start off just pulling out those biography cards, which I know you already have. Just make sure they're in front of you and that that's what you're looking at. When we're looking at our biography cards, we want to know how we can say those in our own words. Last class we spent a lot of time identifying versus explaining. I know we talked about that a little bit earlier. You'll notice that on your desks you have one of the 6 items that we saw last class. Remember, our 6 items all pertain to someone in our U.S. historical figures packet. And so if you know who the item on your desk belongs to, you can come up to the board and you can grab their biography. If you don't, that's okay too. Yep, you can go ahead and take it down and you take it back with you to your table groups. I see that we got John D. Rockefeller at this table, and our other 6 groups will all have their own as well. I'm going to now take my copy of Jackie Robinson's biography, and I'm going to put it on our board. And I'm going to take up my copy of my biography cards. And what we're going to do in this activity, we're going to take a highlighter. So I'm going to pass these out after we've gone through this activity once. And I'm going to read each sentence and show you what I would highlight, which is just the important information that is relevant to what impact Jackie Robinson had. So the tricky thing about this activity is we already have a lot of that cool information on our biography card, right? So during this activity, we're going to highlight, just like it says right here, we're going to highlight the information from the biography, and then we're going to circle new information that we think is still important, but might not be on our biography card. So my first sentence says, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson was born on January 31st, 1919 in Cairo, Georgia. I know that Jackie Robinson was on our card, his birthday was on our card, and his birthplace was on our card. So I've highlighted those three details. And there's nothing else really in that sentence that we need to highlight because they're just filler words. The next sentence says he was the youngest of 5 children. Jackie Robinson was raised in relative poverty by a single mother. So, it is important to know that Jackie Robinson was the youngest of 5 kids, but that doesn't directly impact his influence on U.S. history, so I'm going to leave that sentence blank. The next sentence says, Robinson broke the color barrier when he became the first black athlete to play Major League Baseball when he joined the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947. We know on our biography card that breaking the color barrier and being the first black athlete to play Major League Baseball are huge and are mentioned on our biography cards. So I'm going to highlight those. Our next sentence says he was a vocal civil rights activist. Now, the fun part about that is it's not mentioned on our biography cards, but Jackie Robinson, being a civil rights activist, is still something that's really important and did have a very big impact on what he did. So I'm going to circle vocal rights activist. My next sentence says Robinson continued his education by going to college at UCLA, and he became the university's first student to win varsity letters in 4 different sports categories. Jackie Robinson going to college is a really big deal for Jackie Robinson, but it doesn't directly impact his influence on the United States of America. However, Jackie Robinson winning 4 varsity letters in those sports could affect it. I think that that's something that we might want to look at, so I'm going to circle it. Our next sentence says, despite Robinson's career, he had to leave UCLA just shy of graduation because he didn't have enough money to go. That is very important, but it doesn't apply directly to his impact in U.S. history, so we're going to leave that. And our last sentence says, from 1942 to 1944, Robinson served as second lieutenant in the United States Army. However, he never saw combat. Do you think that Jackie Robinson being a lieutenant in the Army is something that directly impacted Jackie Robinson's impact on U.S. history? No, I don't necessarily think so either. So we're going to leave that sentence blank. You'll notice that I have our 5 detailed facts highlighted from our biography cards, and I have a few extra things circled. So by the end of today's lesson, what we're going to do with that information is we're going to explain it. Really quickly, I'm going to show you what an explanation looks like, and I'm going to ask you 1 or 2 questions after, so make sure we have our listening ears on. If I were to explain who Jackie Robinson was and what Jackie Robinson did, I might say something along the lines of, Jackie Robinson was an African-American man who lived from 1919 onward, and he was born in Georgia. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball, and he was the first black athlete to play Major League Baseball. He was also a vocal civil rights activist who had, in college, gotten 4 varsity letters in 4 different sports. Jackie Robinson was really important and really influential when it came to the civil rights movement, and that's why I believe Jackie Robinson is a U.S. historical figure. So, after hearing that explanation, if you had no idea who Jackie Robinson was, do you think you'd have a pretty good idea of what Jackie Robinson did? You can show me on a thumb scale. Awesome, I see that most of us think that. And that's the goal of being able to explain something. Did you notice that some of the things I said weren't directly off of our sheet? That's because in an explanation, we really want to use our own words. Okay, friends? So, that is what we're going to be able to do by the end of this lesson. And now that I've shown you kind of how that looks like, we're going to try and do it together. So, for this activity, I'm going to pick Henry Ford. I'm going to stick him up on our board, and I'm going to walk through each sentence and then ask you what important things from that sentence I might want to highlight. You can flip in your definition cards to his biography. And then once you're there, you put your hand on your head. Awesome job, friends. So, our first sentence, and I'm going to give you all highlighters before reading this, so we our first sentence says, Henry Ford was born in Greensfield Township on July 30th, 1863. So in our first sentence, what are some important things that might be on our biography cards or not on our biography cards that would have impacted Henry Ford's influence? Yes, Bradley?
Henry Ford being born in Greenfield Township and on July 30th, 1863.
So his name, his birthplace, and his birthday. And I've highlighted all three of those because they come from our biography cards. So if it's information from our biography cards, remember we'll highlight that. So you can use your highlighter and highlight that on your sheet. And then if there's any new information, we'll circle it. Our next sentence says, America would never have had the chance to fall in love with automobiles if it weren't for Ford's Model T. Is there anything that is important that stands out to you in this sentence?
The Model T.
The Model T? Is that on our biography card or is that something that I'm circling?
It's on the biography.
It's on the biography card, so I'm going to highlight that. And for our next sentence, it says, Ford also made a better assembly line. Is there anything important from that sentence?
You can highlight it.
We can highlight it.
It's on our biography.
The assembly line, we can highlight because it's on our card. The next part says, he was founder of the Ford Motor Company. Is that new information or is that old information?
It's information we have.
It's information we already have, so we're going to highlight it. And Henry Ford was an American industrialist. I know industrial sounds like a big word, but we did talk about our vocabulary in our previous lesson. But if you do have a question about what an industrialist is, feel free to ask.
That would be circle.
It would be circled because we think that that's important, right? But it's also information that we don't have on our card. So we're going to go ahead and circle that. Our next sentence says he spent his life building simple, reliable, and affordable cars that the average American could afford. We have it on our card, so we're going to highlight simple, reliable, and affordable cars. Ford is often wrongfully attributed for being the first person to invent both the car and the assembly line, which he did not invent either of, but he developed both so they would be more effective for modern America. That was a long sentence. Is there anything in there that you think is important that might be on our card or not on our card?
I think them saying that he was not the first to invent it is important, but it doesn't have it on the card.
Oh, so what does that mean?
Circle it.
We're gonna circle it. Awesome job. Our next sentence says he had 4 siblings. Nah, there's nothing important in there for what his impact was on America. You're right. As a child, Ford had a strong interest in engineering and would take things apart to see how they worked. No. And the last says Henry Ford died on April 7th, 1947 at the age of 83. Yeah,
Circle.
death dates are important, so we're going to circle them. That way we know that Ford is no longer living, and we know what year he passed away in. So now that we have some highlighted information and some circled information, is there anyone who feels comfortable enough trying to explain this in their own words? Alright, you can come up to the board, that way you can look at everything that you have highlighted. I know it's kind of hard to talk in a strong voice from your desk.
Henry Ford was the inventor of the Model T, and he also was the founder of Ford Motor Company. And he was born on July 30th in 1863 in Greenfield, Missouri, right?
Yep.
And he used to be an industrialist who also focused on inventing the simple, reliable car for affordable, working man.
Awesome job.
And that's about it. And he died at a certain age.
Alright class, I have a question for you about Bradley's explanation. If we didn't know who Henry Ford was or anything about Henry Ford, do you think that we'd have a strong understanding of what Henry Ford did while he was alive? And this is where the class would say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. I didn't want to ask you because you were the person talking. But if we had a large class, which we don't, that's what would happen. And now that we've done the I do, which means that I did it by myself, which we did with Jackie Robinson, and now that we've done the we do with Henry Ford, that means folks from group 1 and 2, because group 1 and 2 would have been Jackie Robinson and Henry Ford. If you are a 1 in that group, you'll migrate to group number 3. If you're a 2, you'll go to 4. If you're a number 3, you will go to group number 5. And if you are a number 4, you'll go to group number 6. But since our class size is small today, you won't have to do all that moving around. And I'm going to ask you as a group of 5, you're going to read through the biography that's at your table. In this case, it would be John D. Rockefeller. And you'll read through with your peers and partners, which I can help you in. And you're going to highlight whatever's on your biography card and circle some other information that we think is important, but not necessarily on our biography card. So I'm going to give you about 2 to 4 minutes to do that. And then once you're done, you can put your hand on your head.
There's a lot of useless stuff in. Oh, you said it back up.
And then once you're done, you can put your hand on your head. That way I know we're done. Awesome job. I see that all of our groups are done. And in your groups, I'm going to ask you to take about 30 seconds and decide who in your group is going to try to give us an explanation, so you can talk amongst your group members to see who feels comfortable. Being that you're a group of 1, you're going to be the one explaining. And I would then have all 6 of my groups go around and try, like 4. All 4 of my groups go around and try to explain who they are in their own words. So I'm going to ask you to come up to the front of class and try to explain to us who John D. Rockefeller is, and I'm going to take a few short notes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
John Rockefeller was born in New York, in Richmond, and he was known for his influence on the refinery and oil field. He is also known as one of the wealthiest families, or he might have been the wealthiest person, but I think his family's the wealthiest family at the moment. But other than that, he really just took responsibility at a young age, helped his father, I believe, while he was traveling. And him and his buddy started their own refinery business back in the day.
Good job. So after our class has gone through our checks of their explanation, I would make some general comments about what I noticed about our presentations. I noticed in our presentations what was really nice is that not only did we use things that were on our biography cards, which was information that we could identify directly from the text, we were able to explain some more about who they were by using their own words and own ideas about who these individuals were. So that's really exciting. I also noticed a lot of strong voices in our classroom, even though talking in front of an audience might be a little scary, that we felt comfortable doing that. So I wanted to make sure that all of you know that we did very well with our presentations. And now that we're done with our presentations, I'm going to have us repeat our I can statement, and we'll see just how comfortable we feel with doing some of those. Alright friends, so read along with me. Here we go. I can explain the impact of historical figures in my own words. And then you can give me a thumb scale of how you feel about doing that. Awesome, we do feel pretty good as a class, and even if we don't feel good individually, that's A-okay. So now that we've done our thumb scale and we've done our I can statements for the day, and we've worked through our I do, we do, you do, and checked our I can statement, it's time for our independent work time. For our independent work time today, what I'm going to give you is a rubric, and I'm going to give you a blank sheet of paper with a historical figure on it. For these 6 historical figures, you can use your biography cards, and you can use the biographies that you have in your take-home folders, and you're going to write an explanation in your own words. So make sure that we're not just identifying information from the text, that we're writing that information in our own explanation. The goal of an explanation is to make sure that somebody we're talking to understands what we're saying, and even if they have no idea about the person we're talking about, they at least have an idea of what that person's done as a U.S. historical figure. During this time, I'm going to ask that we remain working independent and use our quiet voices. Once you're done with this task, you can open up your history book and read independently until we're done. So here is your rubric. Make sure you write your name. And here is your independent explanation card. And you're going to have access to your biographies. Whenever you're done, make sure that you come up, you'll staple it. Our stapler's right here in our material spot. You'll put it on my desk, and then you can go read independently.